Topping today's news, we hear the opposition's concerns with the new land reform bills. Police believe they have found at least one of the suspects responsible for the country's 43rd murder. The leader of the opposition talks about U.S. tariffs on our exports, and the government still looking for answers regarding Bahamians caught in what appears to be a deadly drug smuggling operation in Haiti. This is your JCN Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. Parliamentarians debated and passed two new bills that are expected to transform the way land disputes are settled and the way land is registered here in the Bahamas. While the official opposition, FNM, and the Coalition of Independents Member of Parliament, Aram Lewis, acknowledged the good intent of the Registered Land Bill 2025 and the Land Adjudication Bill 2025, the FNM raised several concerns as it relates to the new adjudication process that solves land disputes via a land tribunal. FNM Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, wanted to know if training has begun for the individuals who will be appointed to carry out the various processes to enforce the new legislation.
The bills also detail the vital role which will require personnel who is well trained and is in this new system. For example, the bill refers to demarcators who are registered and licensed land surveyors with at least 5 years of experience, tasked with physically marking and indicating land boundaries. Well, the first question, Madam Speaker, is, do we have them? Are they trained on this new system? The bill also speaks to records officers who are counsel and attorney with at least 3 years of property experience, responsible for investigating claims and preparing the official adjudication record. They must be trained. We have lawyers, we have a lot of lawyers, but how many of those lawyers have been specifically trained on this new system? When will that training start? Surveyors will also be appointed for essential survey work and the creation of demarcation index maps. Hopefully these maps will be digital. But do we have them? Do we have sufficient surveyors? And the surveyors that we have, are they trained, or when will they be starting the training on this process?
Mr. Thompson explained that the process to change the old land laws and adopt the new system will be an arduous process and not as easy as the government would want the Bahamian public to believe.
Madam Speaker, the process will not be an easy process. This will not be an easy transition. So I understand the government's thrust and the government's excitement on that this will change the Bahamas and empower all Bahamians. I understand that. But the process of this piece of legislation is a long and, in some cases, it will be a difficult process to deal with and a difficult process to transition from the unregistered land to a registered land system. And all you would need to do is look at the experience of other countries. Countries like Jamaica, and the member for South Andros referenced St. Kitts, St. Lucia, referenced St. Lucia. Well, St. Lucia's process, and I'll go through that, but St. Lucia's process took almost 20 years for them to go through. So it will be rigorous.
FNM leader Michael Pintard expressed concerns about the proper and fair implementation of the new laws, noting that if not done properly, there could be bad results negatively impacting the very same people the government is trying to help. Coalition of Independents Member of Parliament Aram Lewis also voicing his opinions on both of those bills. He supported and critiqued the bills at the same time. Lewis described the bill as a monumental step towards modernizing the country's land system, but says the laws must go even further to truly empower Bahamians.
I intend to lay a bill, yes, under my COI, to allow every Bahamian, every adult Bahamian, and we have quite enough land in our inventory where every Bahamian can get at least 1 acre of land. One, not buy. It could be at least 1 acre, and that would even touch the amount of crown land available in this country.
Lewis tied the nation's land distribution initiative directly to national development. He says secure land ownership would open real economic opportunities for ordinary Bahamians, from home building to entrepreneurship.
With a clear registered title to an acre of land, Bahamians will have tangible collateral to access loan for various purposes, such as starting small businesses, funding education, or even building homes. This directly addresses historical challenges of limited access to capital for many Bahamians.
In addition to land access, Lewis called for stronger legal aid, financial literacy programs, and technical support for new land owners. He also recommended amending the bill to include a provision for equitable Crown land allocation. On the crime front, police believe they have found one of the suspects responsible for the shooting death of a 26-year-old woman and the attempted murder of a 21-year-old female and a teen boy, who were all shot while sitting on a porch on John Terrace off Wolf Road. That's just 1 block east, or 1 block west rather, of Lincoln Boulevard. The incident took place on Sunday, June 29th around 9:40 p.m. when police say the suspect approached the home and opened fire on the residents before running away. It was the 43rd murder for the year. The deceased woman has since been identified as Ishniqua Culmer. After weeks of training and going through ratification processes, the Free National Movement recently announced 17 of its 39 candidates for the 2026 general elections. Party leader Michael Pintard expressed confidence in the named candidates and is looking forward to naming more than 20 additional candidates in the very near future.
We released 17 candidates. 50% of them at least were new faces. We also had a significant percentage of young people who we have signaled we will ratify, and we have already begun that process. So it's important that we have new faces, women, at least 1/3 of those were women, and we're excited about the next 22 that's going to be released in short order. So we want you to stay tuned as the party makes a decision on who will represent the country. We welcome input from all the veterans of the party, including former prime ministers who have a role to play.
Former Free National Movement leader and incumbent for Killarney, Dr. Hubert Minnis, has been told by the party that he will not get a nomination and has been asked to play an elder statesman role in the Free National Movement. Meanwhile, when asked if F&M incumbent for Long Island, the constituency of Long Island, Adrian Gibson, if he would get a nomination, Mr. Pintard would only say that the embattled Member of Parliament, the former chairman for the Water and Sewage Corporation, has the full support of the party. However, he is confident that the Free National Movement will hold on to the Long Island seat.
In Long Island, we are confident that we're going to retain Long Island, and so whatever the other organization does, again, they're taking care of their own business. We're going to take care of ours, which is to make the case to the people of Long Island that this administration led by me, we will work in their interest. Those projects that are incomplete, once election comes, we will move steadily to make sure that those projects are completed. We value Long Island. We've had a good track record in the past when we have led into 3 non-consecutive terms, and we made progress under the last F&M administration. Has it been sufficient? Of course not. But again, we believe that infrastructural works, we have done a stellar job under the Ingram administration. We made some additional progress under Dr. Minnis. And what the Progressive Liberal Party is doing on the eve of the election is what government's supposed to do. You're supposed to help fix roads. You're supposed to make sure that transportation hubs are available, like the airport, and you should, in fact, make sure that potable water is available everywhere. Mr. Davis hasn't had a good record in Kent Island taking care of most of these things. So we're not amazed that with a smaller area to cover, that you're able to make some progress in Long Island. That's expected. You don't get rewarded for doing what your job is on a regular basis.
There is a possibility that there will be more than 39 constituencies, as the Boundaries Commission is considering adding as many as maybe 2 new constituencies, because a number of existing constituencies have over 7,000 registered voters, when the target number is between 4,500 and 5,000 voters in each constituency. Also from the opposition leader, Mr. Pintard is warning that a recent announcement by U.S. President Donald Trump of the increase in tariffs on exports from the Caribbean, the Bahamas, and Africa to the United States by about 10% could significantly impact the Bahamian economy. There is concern that the tariffs could have a negative impact on the Bahamas' $60 million lobster industry that opens on August 1st. Mr. Pintard is urging the government to take urgent action to protect consumers as best they can.
We have said before, an increase by the U.S. on any tariff is going to negatively affect the country. The business community has also signaled that they would expect an impact, and so the government has to be engaged in the discussions with the business community with respect to what they anticipate will happen to prices, and then the government has to make a decision on whether or not there'll be a corresponding decrease of our own taxes at the border to help alleviate some of the burdens that may be put on the Bahamian people.
Mr. Pintard also criticized the government's response to questions on immigration, including the sudden spike in national insurance cards and the issuance of documents to citizens, new citizens, accusing the administration, the Davis administration, of dodging transparency.
He said the increase in whether it is NID cards, he didn't address the purported increase whether in passports or in voters registration cards, the persons who may have been recently given citizenship. He didn't address those, but he also didn't indicate what projects. So we asked the minister which projects have resulted in this dramatic increase in NID cards. Just release the figures. The whole discussion we had was many of you in the press, members of the public, are asking questions. The minister should have then provided the answers to those questions, and they did not.
Mr. Pintard went even further, suggesting that the government's silence raises a lot of red flags. He called on the media to investigate further, suggesting that public pressure is key to getting answers and clarity that is needed. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.